Hey everybody, good day. This is Kaneki. I come in the name of the Lord. And okay, so this is going to be a series on trying to understand what the Spirit is, what the Holy Spirit is, the soul, what we are when we are created in His image, what that means, and what was the process. If maybe the way that we've been looking at it is wrong. And so this is going to be the beginning of the video. I know I have another video on this, but I'm going to go over the creation again, yeah, and how everything was created in the beginning, and then I'm not just. It's only going to go into after the sea splits from the land, yeah, and then I'm going to then go over for the second video how He created, him from he and they from them and all that stuff, and fit male and female, and what does that all that mean, and then from there I'll be able to get the rest of the pieces that is coming together for the talk of the Holy Spirit. So without further ado, and thank you so much for joining me, okay? So, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, okay? That was the first thing that He created. The heavens and the earth. The heavens, there's two. The earth, there was only one. But it said that the earth was formless and void, and the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters, right? So there's heavens. So it's going to look like this, okay? So this is God, as you can see. Put it a little bit more up. I hope you guys can see that in the frame, yeah? Okay, so then heavens, it's going to be like this, okay? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Okay, it's just gonna be the perimeter, because you can't see nothing, yeah. And it said the earth was empty and void, so there's nothing there, right? Empty and dark, and formless. Sorry, and darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was over the waters. So when it says the waters and the Spirit of God and darkness was over the surface of the deep, everything had to have been in heaven, right? So in this sense, it's going to be like this. Waters, this is going to represent more than one water, okay? And darkness was over the surface of the deep. So this right here is going to be darkness over the surface of the deep. This is going to be waters. And the Spirit of God was hovering. So remember, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, yeah? He was with God in the beginning. Through Him, all things were made. So through Him, yeah? So the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. So now it looks like this. This is going to be the Spirit of God hovering over the waters. And then God said the famous words, right? Let there be light. And there was light. God saw that the light was good, and He separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And there was evening, and there was morning the first day. So when He said, let there be light, that was the first time anything could see anything. So let there be light. Boom. It went over everything from the heavens and the earth, right? And He saw it was good, and He separated the light from the darkness. So in this sense, this is going to be the light. Okay? We're going to formulate the heavens like this, okay? Now, I'm not saying they're separate, but it has to go kind of like that, okay? From the earth. He separated the light from the darkness. The darkness He called night, right? So when He did this, and He separated the light from the darkness, okay, and He called it night, this right here is what's going to happen. Remember, this is the earth, okay? It went like this. Separated the light from the darkness. that is going to do that. this kind of be more like this, because now there's light and darkness on the earth and all light in heaven, right? And when he separated the darkness from the surface of the deep came into the night. And this right here at this point is when, as we say, evil entered the world. Yeah? From the beginning. Darkness went into what it was called the night. The light was now ever present, but there was now a separation. And this was all present within the heavens and the earth, yeah? Well, now the deep was uncovered. Since the surface of the deep got taken off, but the light was created before the surface was made, that means that the deep would be a different color from the light, okay? That's why it's this color. And it's not going to be the color of the light or the color of the darkness, yeah? And so there are still waters, more than one waters, with the Spirit of God hovering over it, and then God did that. So that's all within the first day, okay? Then God said, let there be an expanse between the waters to separate water from water. So God made the expanse and separated the water under the expanse from the water above it. And it was so. And God called the expanse sky, and there was evening, and there was morning. Yeah? The second day. So in this, he created the sky. Okay, this is going to be the sky. And what this did was separate the waters apart, right? So when this happened, the waters underneath the sky separated from the waters that was above it. And remember, all the waters was come from heaven. So this is what happened here. That's the sky. That's light and day. Now waters was in the realm of the earth. Okay? So that's one waters. While waters was also separated into heaven. Right? So this right here turned into that. It was like this, right? There's this thing called the deep still. And the Spirit of God hovering over the water that was still in heaven. Okay? And at that point, the Spirit of God, as you know, is the Christ. That's the Christ Spirit. This is the Spirit that was of Jesus. Created in the beginning and always meant. And that's why the Spirit of God hovering over these waters this whole entire time creates this thing called the living waters. Okay? So we answered that question, why Jesus Christ calls something the living waters, and why we are connected by conduit, because the water that we know of here on earth came from heaven. Okay? And so that was the evening and there was morning, okay? Then he said, that's when he created the sky. Then he said, let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear. And it was so. That was when he called the dry ground land, and the gathered waters he called the seas, right? So this is the part where the waters underneath, he gathered in one place. This is the first time that you see the shape of what the earth looked like, round. He gathered it all in one place, right? With a little bit of light, a little bit of day in the sky. Now the earth was forming. Then he made it so that we could get land, right? And these little black ones right here, this is going to represent land. And that is what we see today. And with this whole entire structuring, okay, you can understand now how, if the waters started like this, everything started with one shape, and then when he put it together, it finally started forming like a dimensional shape out of the whole aspect, why the flat earthers are also right, as well as the round earthers are also right. And why back in the day, the people weren't ignorant when they said you would sail off the earth if you kept going. It was because this right here changes. It totally changes. And that is, and the truth about that is, I'll connect it to why God only has one right arm. One right arm, right hand. They never talk about his left. Why? So in that sense, this is what we have now. Yeah, we have God, who is going to be, I and the Father are one, as in the beginning, as in the end. Yeah, this one right here, with the deep, which is going to be kind of where God resides. Okay, way in the deep. But the Spirit of God, who is known as Christ, right, came in and lives in the light, okay? The light, which is going to be of heaven, that has water in it, and it subsides in there. So remember, this Spirit of God living in water is almost it's almost destroys God, because God is an all-consuming fire. But all-consuming means that he will also consume water. And his Spirit would have to be of the same type of fire. But fire and water, and yet it lives there. That's why you'll have this living water, this essence, right? This thing is called the animation, the breath of God, the life, the living word, right? Right there. And then, as the light had been separated from the darkness, so there was a day and there was a night, the darkness from the deep came off. And there's only the surface of this deep thing that is here in the night that is separated from the light, but is still in the creation of the heavens and the earth. And this surface right here, if this is the deep of God, this surface right here would mean that this is the bottomless pit that gets at the end, that right? And so, in that sense, you'll understand now that the darkness is part of the very beginning. Because everything is going to come from God, everything is going to end from God. And then when Jesus Christ came, he got the Spirit again. He came from the sky, the water. He came as the living water with the bread of life. And then he and God became one again. But here on earth, a completely different dimension. So that's going to be the first part. If you have any questions about this, let me know how I can make that more clear. Because the clearer this can be, the clearer the creation of man can be. And the clearer of the whole process about where we are right now, to understand what is spirit, what is body, what is mind, what is the Son of Man, what is the Son of God, what is Lord, what is, why all these names, why all these things, how it keeps growing and expanding, and there's a reason for every single thing under the sun. So, thanks everybody for keeping up with this awesome adventure that is being led by the Holy Spirit, and we don't even know where we're going. I don't know either. And so, I'll just let him lead, and it's going to be awesome. So, have a good day.